Welcome to today's special episode of Impulse by REHAU New Ventures. Today we're diving into the story of a very special venture, FlexFy. Unlike a typical startup, FlexFy was born within a corporate structure and then spun out to pursue its own entrepreneurial path. With us is the co-founder, Anja, who has taken the bold step of transforming an internal idea into an independent venture. She brings a unique mix of startup spirit and deep industry expertise, paired with firsthand experience navigating the complexities of corporate innovation. In this episode, we explore FlexFy, a corporate spinoff. What does it take to launch a new venture from within a company? How do you gain freedom to act while staying connected to the parent organization? And what role does venture clienting play in building early traction? Anja, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Anja, do you briefly want to introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yes, I'm Anja. I'm co-founder, co-inventor, and also managing director of FlexFy. And in my former life, I was a marketeer, but now, I'm a co-founder of a company. And the specialty about our story for sure is that we invented the system as a normal employee at our former company. And we spinned out in a very special way. So my co-founder and I, Christian, we are the majority shareholders of FlexFy. And this is for a big company like REHAU, which was our former company, was a big step.
So I think by now everyone is eager to learn what exactly is FlexFy. In a few sentences, please pitch us your company.
Yeah, I try to. FlexFy is an integrated wall system that enables you to power and mount electrical devices on walls and ceilings. So you can put a lamp wherever you like to have it, and you don't need any hole to drill or any cable to put there to power it. So the power is on the entire surface. And the nice thing about it is that it's removable, so you can just put the light on a different place whenever you want it.
So that sounds like a compelling solution for DIY enthusiasts and maybe even tradespeople.
Yes.
But this whole invention idea came when you were still in your corporate role. So can you tell us a little bit about your parent company and how that came about?
Yeah, REHAU is famous for its products in coatings. So we're normally producing paints and lacquers. Our brands are Caparol and Alpina Weiß, so most of the people probably know this company. And we had an internal innovation program. It was like a Shark Tank. We called it Höhle der Elefanten. And there actually the initial idea about FlexFy was born.
And when was the point in time where you understood and ultimately was decided that this needs to be spun out as a separate company?
Yeah, actually, it was when we realized that the wall is just half of the product, because you need compatible products, and it was clear that REHAU would not go into light manufacturing or other electronic devices. So actually, that was the moment where we decided, okay, we need to go out. We need other partners to be part of FlexFy to let it really grow.
Well, then maybe just take us through a little bit the journey of how you got there. You mentioned before the Shark Tank setting, where I believe the cave of the elephants, you called it. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, correct.
Something to do with the logo of REHAU?
Yes, of Caparol, the elephant, the striped elephant.
So it was a kind of a entrepreneurship or innovation initiative. Maybe you can just take us through that, because I think this was where the whole idea got started.
Yeah, it started actually in 2018 with the Shark Tank. So some colleagues of REHAU were asked if they want to join this special event, and we were set up in groups. And I was in the same group as Christian, who is now my co-founder. And with some other colleagues, we had roughly 12 weeks time to have an innovative product idea or a process improvement, whatever. And we had to pitch it on this special event on the Shark Tank. And we had the idea of a fast redecoration of walls, so very close to our core competence. But in that process, we found out how easy it is to put flat cables on a wall and power a lamp. And this was actually the first prototype we made. And this was the first spark, what we call today FlexFy.
Okay, and then from there, I mean, now it's 2025 as we speak.
Yeah.
So what was the journey? I mean, that's quite a few years between this first initiative, first ideas and prototypes, and now you being an independent company. What were some of the milestones along the way?
Yeah, actually, like it's always when you have these corporate formats like the Shark Tank, the innovation programs, then it wasn't really clear how to proceed with all the ideas that were put on the table. So there was no process afterwards how to deal with this idea now. And this is why we continued developing the idea in our free time. And and then after Corona, it was by the end of 2022, we came to a point where Christian and I said that this approach is no longer sustainable, that we need budget and resources because, we couldn't do it in our free time anymore. And then we decided to show the progress to the DAW board. And then they decided, and it was the first time for the DAW, that we get budget. And I was allowed to shift my position. So I went to the innovation department and I was able to focus just on FlexFy.
Okay, so there was at one point, let's say, the recognition that for this to be successful, it needed fully allocated resources, including human resources.
Yes.
So then you and Christian both moved on to the project, is that?
No, it was just me. So Christian stayed in the R&D department and he did the developments and the IP, all the things to his normal job, beside his normal job. But also in 2023, we decided that this doesn't make sense anymore. And he came to the innovation department as well and focused fully on the technical development.
And just to understand a little bit, the corporate mindset, this decision to really, take this out as a separate project, is that something that regularly happens, or is this already a little bit unusual?
No, it was a complete blueprint for DAW. We haven't done this before, so it was really the first project or innovation topic that we made in this kind of incubator. And it was completely new for us.
Fantastic. That's exciting. So it's part of a corporate transformation when it comes to corporate innovation in that case.
Yes.
And then what were the next steps from there? So now you had a small team, you had budget, you were, let's say, within this innovation unit or on this innovation platform. How did it continue from there?
Yeah, we developed the system itself quite far, but always when it came to the compatible products, so the other side of the ball, then we reached our limits also in the corporate framework because we needed different speed. We needed, let's say, different decisions on, for instance, what we want to purchase. And that's why we recognized that we actually have to spin out to get more agility on the topic. And it was actually in last year, 1 year ago, when we founded the FlexFy company. And we acquired the patents from the DAW and transferred all the relevant know-how into the company. So today, DAW is a minority shareholder of FlexFy.
Wow. Now, I mean, that sounds as if, again, just another easy decision to take that step. Having, now been in the corporate venturing environment for a few years myself, I appreciate that that's, again, not a necessarily normal decision. Can you take us a bit through the steps to get there? And let me just, take a step back. I mean, typically ventures that, kind of have their origin in the corporate environment usually face the challenge that the corporate actually, likes to maintain a high level of ownership stake and therefore control. So the step to really take a step back and give the majority of the equity to co-founders, this is unusual, but in my experience, very important for success in corporate venturing. So just shine a bit of light on how these discussions took place and ultimately how I guess you were able to convince the decision makers to go this path?
Yeah, actually, for sure, it was a process. It was not that it was one meeting and we decided to spin out because it was risky on both sides and everybody has stakes in the topic. Actually, it was a process where we really thought about what is the best way for FlexFi to really be successful. And there was one sentence always, and it was like, DAW is not the best owner of the topic. And this describes it very precisely, I think, because we have a core competence in coatings and in walls, but FlexFi is so much more. So it was clear that it will not work within the normal corporate structure.
Okay, and then the decision was ultimately taken to really spin this out. You have a cap table now. It's just you and Christian and DAW, or do you have another investor in there?
No, we have another investor. So it was clear DAW was funding the, I would say, incubator phase, but also the spin-off phase, and but they always said that the funding is endless and that we need a second investor to proceed with FlexFi as a whole system approach. And lucky us, we found an Austrian lighting company, XLL, which joined as a strategic partner. And for us, this was really a very important step because we not just had capital in the company, we also had the technical expertise we needed to have a light assortment, for instance.
Okay. And you as founders, besides, bringing in sweat equity and whatnot, did you bring in capital?
Just the founding capital. We made the founding capital by ourselves.
For an I'm assuming.
Sorry?
For LLC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's basically is. We bought with convertible loans the patents. So this was quite a good way for us to be able to buy the knowledge that has always been created in the company.
Okay. I mean, this is really, to mirror it a bit with our experience here at REHAU New Ventures, a recipe for success. Founder empowerment is hugely important, and understanding that founders need a majority stakeholder for any other investors to jump on board is another very crucial key to success. So it's great to see that you guys really kind of landed exactly there. And maybe, it would be interesting to understand a bit, how do you still benefit from the corporate support coming from DAW, and then maybe in a second step, what are the effects that you see now with a new strategic partner on board?
Well, DAW, of course, still we have colleagues who we can call when we have problems. We worked for a very long time at DAW, but also they are now our strategic supplier for components of the system. So still there is the wall that is installed by a painter. So there are a lot of products of DAW coming in. And this is the role DAW has today. It's on one side strategic supplier, but also shareholder of FlexFi.
Interesting. I mean, in some of our ventures that we've also then been able to set up successfully, I mean, we really see that as soon as we can bring in a strong corporate asset, that's that kind of unfair advantage that we can leverage, and often it is really the core expertise or the products, the hardware that comes from the corporate, and then within the startup is then combined with other expertise and outside partners that really creates a positive network effect that then allows the venture to hopefully take off.
Absolutely.
What about your team now? Have you expanded your team, or is it just you two founders? What's your current setup?
No, we have actually we are 6 people in the team right now. So we have our own painter, we have a sales guy, finance, and product management. So we bring different expertises in the team, and this is really important because we have different tasks to do. It's not just developing the system, it's also making the market, making the ecosystem grow. because we still need compatible products to the system. Lights is just one part of it.
Okay, so really now expanding your market-facing network is
Yes.
What about your channel to market? Because here again, it could be that you benefit from either your corporate partner or your new strategic partner. Can you tell us a little bit about how you bring this solution to market?
Yeah, we have different sales channels actually. It's through the painter, obviously. So this is where DAW comes into place, where they open the doors to painters for us. But also on the other side, XL, they have market access to architects, interior designers. So we use that, that's sales channels to position FlexFy as a solution for buildings. But we also build up our own sales channel, which is a direct channel with our own sales guy. So we really try different ways of how to bring FlexFy into buildings.
Okay, so again, you're clearly able to leverage some existing sales channels. Do you have any examples of where you started to develop, let's say, your own channel to market, which doesn't really come from either the corporate or the strategic partner?
Actually, it was cold calls, really to architects, where we just started as FlexFy, where we didn't say, okay, we are from. So we build up our own story, the FlexFy story. And this is also, I think, a very, very important way to go, that you don't just rely on the already existing channels, but that you try it by yourself, because you have to find out what are the questions from the customers, where are the pain points, what do they think about FlexFy, what is their real, reaction when they see the system, the advantages, the disadvantages. Everything has disadvantages as well, right? So, and you have to be very close to the customer to understand where you really find the benefit people are then willing to pay for.
Couldn't agree more. It's absolutely key to have a real firsthand understanding of the market. And I guess that's where you can't just rely on your partners. That's where you as founders and as a team, as your own venture, really need to get out there, get into the market. And I guess that's where you get the most important feedback then, when it comes to improving the product and maybe even expanding the product offer. So talking about expanding the product offer, what's the outlook now for FlexFy? What do you have in the plan for the next 12 months? What are some of the big things that you're looking forward to?
Actually, we want to say lots of walls. That's our big goal. We are now right in the place that we have the first light assortment, and together with the wall system itself, we are now ready really to make the first projects. And the light assortment is ready since almost 4 weeks now. So we are now getting the first projects done, and this is actually what we focus on right now, because we need this traction also as company. For sure, you need sales. And the strategic step is to enlarge the ecosystem, because as I said, it's not just only about lights. We also want TVs, we want USB-C sockets, so all electronic devices that you can imagine can be powered with a FlexFy wall. So, and this platform needs now to grow.
Okay, so now, Anja, I'm going to have to deep dive a little bit further into the product.
Okay.
Be a bit more specific now about how this works exactly.
Okay. How it works exactly? Well, actually, the painter comes and he makes like a normal wall. When you tell a painter make me a smooth wall, then he normally uses the so-called fleece, and we have just a conductive fleece that is applied by the painter. And on top of this conductive fleece, you put a magnetic mortar with a 3mm layer. And on that top, you just put, like in my bag, whatever you would like, a paint or a nice decorative paint. And then you connect on the top or on the bottom of each surface. You connect to a central DC power unit, and then you have 48 volts through the entire surface. So what you see in the back of me, it's a light powered by the FlexFy system. It's a small picture frame, digital picture frame, which is powered. All the pictures and decoration you see is just sticking with magnets to the wall. So, and I can just easily rearrange. I can just put them off and put them somewhere else, no problem at all. So, reusage of rooms and buildings is one of our key topics.
Sounds like magic, but basically,
Yes,
once
it is.
you electrify the wall with your proprietary system, you can then choose from a product range of proprietary products, and these then just magically magnetically attach to the wall, and are electrified.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Right.
Wonderful. Sounds exciting. Sounds
It
exciting.
is, and it really feels like magic.
Yeah. What markets are you rolling this out to?
Actually, at the moment at B2B customers. So we are in hotels, restaurants, but also offices where you have meeting spaces where you need flexibility between workshop and a nice atmosphere later on. But also museum galleries. So where you have a lot of changes in the setup. But what we are also recognizing is that a lot of B2C customers are calling because they want to renovate and see the potential in their living area.
Fantastic. And geographically, you're currently focusing on any specific region or?
Yeah, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland at the moment. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, well, it sounds very exciting. Now, you started this back in 2018, so it's been quite a journey for you. And if you reflect a little bit on, this corporate venturing journey, where you started and where you are today, what are some of your key takeaways and learnings, maybe personally, but then also when it comes to, let's say, the discipline of corporate venturing, which you really firsthand experienced over these years?
Well, actually, what I've learned is that you can't wait. You have to take action. This is, I think, most of the important thing you have to do when you really want to go away like this. And you can't wait for others to make the decision for you, right? What changed in my mind is that I think, more resilient. I can deal better with risk, and I'm really not a risky girl, right? So, but yeah, what you have to accept is that there's maybe, you see the mountain and there's maybe another mountain behind, but you shouldn't worry about it right now. You just need to focus on what is urgent right now and handle this. So this is one of the things I really had to learn.
Now, taking the aspect of time into account, you think looking back, you could have done this much more quickly, or do you say, look, this just takes a certain time coming from a corporate setting and then moving into a more venture-driven setup?
Yeah, actually a good question, because for sure we could have been faster. I mean, we had this period between 2018 and end of 2020, but it was also the Corona phase, so maybe it's a reason why it took so long. But for us, the timing now is actually nearly perfect because of the electronics. They also developed in that time. So everything goes into a USB-C standard, which helps us really that we have a lot of compatible products right there. And if we would have been faster, maybe we would have been too early. So maybe this was exactly the time that we should have taken for this FlexFi topic.
Okay. So I mean, corporate venturing does take time. I think it takes time.
Yeah,
Patience.
and you need a certain patience. Yeah.
Perfect. So, any big milestones in the cards in terms of financing? Do you have a runway left? Are you looking to raise another round anytime soon?
Yeah, we still have some runway left, but for sure it's not. We are thinking about the next round, maybe this or the beginning of next year. But this is, actually a strategic decision also from the investors, from the current investors and shareholders. But we are open because for me, it would be great to have just another investor with another expertise in the system, maybe another product that fits to FlexFy. And for me, it's always a different commitment when you're part of the whole story and not just supplier of one device that fits to the wall.
So you're willing to open up to another strategic investor in that
Yeah.
case? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And for such a funding round, is that the lead then taken by your corporate mothership, DAW, or how does that work?
No, no, that's our job.
Okay. Wow. Cool.
So Christian and I, for sure, are in charge for that, and also another learning curve.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. That's a whole nother world of challenges and knowledge and experience that you get.
Yes.
Great. Well, look, once you're there, Anja, definitely we'll keep my fingers crossed. But in the meantime, now it's all about getting out into the market, getting traction, as we say,
Yeah.
so that you'll be then even more attractive for future investors.
Yes, that's the main goal right now.
Great, fantastic. Well, look, thank you so much for sharing here. In my last discussion that I had with Anne Decker, she actually recommended to speak with you as a positive example for corporate venture building. And really, after what we've learned over the last half hour, I definitely can say it's a remarkable journey that you've taken. And we'll all be curious to see how things develop from here. Anja, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. And we'll share in the podcast notes link to FlexFy so that
that would be great.
Listeners can learn more. Okay.
Thank you very much.
So that was FlexFy, a great example of what can happen when entrepreneurial thinking and corporate resources come together. Really great to see how they were able to make the switch from the corporate setup to really a founder-driven venture setup, find additional investors, and of course are now in this critical phase of getting market traction. So hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for tuning in, and see you next time, or hear you next time here on Impulse, brought to you by REHAU New Ventures. My name is Nils Wagner. Over and out.